The problems in Germany, the various attacks that have gone on in the last few years have reignited a fraught debate about immigration across Europe, highlighting the failures of both policy and leadership. And the instance where refugees, for example, killed a 2 year old boy and others underscore the inability of current systems to manage migration effectively, leaving the public angry and political elites scrambling for solutions. The 1951 Refugee Convention, once a beacon of international solidarity, now shows its age, and it was designed for a post-war world, focuses on individual asylum claims. It's oblivious to the mass migration flows seen today. Its core principle of non-refoulement, the prohibition against returning refugees to danger, remains vital, but it's undermined by modern realities of organised smuggling networks, inadequate integration policies, and the sheer scale of movement. And European governments have exploited the loopholes in the 1951 Refugee Convention, shifting responsibility across borders under the Dublin regulation, creating a perpetual game of refugee hot potato. And Germany, hosting the largest share of refugees in the EU, has tightened border controls under immense pressure from public dissatisfaction and strained resources. The rise of the far right AfD has pushed even mainstream parties like the CDU to adopt extreme rhetoric. Friedrich Merz's proposals to reintroduce permanent border controls threaten the Schengen Agreement, the jewel of European integration. If Germany's actions cascade to neighbouring states, Schengen could collapse overnight, ending free movement and dismantling one of Europe's most celebrated achievements. And back here in the UK, under a Labour government, this desire for political expediency over substantive reform, much like Rishi Sunak, Keir Starmer, and Yvette Cooper, are pussyfooting rather than dealing directly. The direct thing is not to back or to sideline Suella Braverman's draconian Rwanda plan, which itself sidesteps these real issues and sets a dangerous precedent of outsourcing responsibility to other nations. This policy is not a solution, but a gimmick, diverting attention from the urgent need to revise outdated international agreements like the Refugee Convention. And if Rishi Sunak wanted to do something while he was Prime Minister, he should have held an international conference. That's something that Keir Starmer could perhaps do, and it might help his flagging reputation. The refusal to tackle migration collectively is fracturing the EU just as much as it's fracturing the UK. Neighbouring states like Poland, Denmark, and Austria have embraced increasingly nationalist policies, rejecting collective solutions and burdening states like Germany with disproportionate responsibility. Such utilitarian attitudes threaten the EU's common European asylum system, designed to share the load but undetermined by political squabbling and the lack of enforcement. What is urgently needed is a 21st century update of that refugee convention. This should include addressing the group influxes, the mass migration protocols with regional cooperation. It should reduce reliance on smuggling networks by providing safe and legal routes. It needs to bind agreements for equitable distribution of asylum seekers, promoting a form of shared responsibility. It needs to ensure long-term support for refugees and host communities, integrating standards of treatment across the board. It needs to improve efficiency in repatriating those who don't qualify for protection, streamlining the returns procedure. And Germany's border controls are a symptom, not a solution, just as the channel protection is a symptom, not a solution of this problem. The upcoming EU Pact on Migration and Asylum offers some hope, aiming to manage migration at external borders and streamline asylum procedures, but its 2026 implementation is too far off to address immediate crises. And EU states need to act now, just as Britain needs to act now, establishing a task force to reduce the backlog of unresolved asylum cases and strengthen collaboration to avoid further unilateral action. The approach of Theresa May, which was to trigger a go slow in the Home Office, is not a response, but it is the response of a variety of EU states at the moment, including Ireland, to go slow, to lean on paperwork rather than on reality. As Friedrich Merz's gamble shows, desperation leads to dangerous brinkmanship, and political leaders must resist nationalist temptations and laziness and instead prioritise real reform. Sunak's failure to challenge Suella Braverman's myopic policies, Starmer's failure to encourage Yvette Cooper to do something dramatic. This is emblematic of the broader European cowardice. Revisiting the 1951 Refugee Convention is not just an opportunity, it is a necessity to prevent further tragedy and to protect European unity, to protect national sovereignty, to protect Europe, to protect the UK, to restore faith in human governance.